Hi everyone, welcome back to Listen and Learn English. I'm Bruno and I'm so happy to see you here again.
And I'm Carol. We're so glad you're joining us for another relaxing session of English conversation and listening practice. Before we dive in, do us a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you never miss our daily lessons.
Yes, please. Liking this video and subscribing helps our little channel grow, and it guarantees you get fresh, natural English practice every single day. And if you're enjoying our podcast style, drop a quick comment right now telling us where in the world you're listening from. We love reading those.
Today, we're jumping into a topic that touches every single one of us every single day: transportation and commuting.
Think about it. Getting to work, taking the kids to school, catching a bus, riding a bike, sitting in traffic, or squeezing into a crowded subway train. We all move around the city constantly, and we need the right words to talk about it.
For intermediate learners at the B1 and B2 levels, this topic is perfect because it's full of everyday vocabulary and natural expressions. We're not just talking about car and bus. We want to explore real phrases like to catch a ride, to get stuck in traffic, to take the scenic route, and to hop on a train.
We'll share our own commuting stories, talk about the pros and cons of different transport, discuss traffic jams, and even compare city life with the countryside.
Remember, our goal is to help your brain absorb English naturally through context. No stressful grammar drills here. So grab a coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get moving.
Let's start with the basics. Carol, how do you usually get to work every day?
Well, Bruno, it depends on the day. Most mornings I take the subway. It's fast and reliable, and I can read or listen to music while I travel. But when the weather is nice, I love to ride my bicycle instead. It's great exercise, and I feel so awake when I arrive.
Take the subway. That's a great phrasal expression. We say take with most forms of public transport. Take the bus, take the train, take the subway, take a taxi. It's one of those little words that makes your English sound so natural.
Exactly. And what about you, Bruno? How do you get around?
I drive to work, actually. I have a small car, and I usually leave home around 7 in the morning. The drive takes about 30 minutes when the traffic is light, but if there's an accident or bad weather, it can easily take an hour.
Oh, that sounds stressful. Getting stuck in traffic is the worst way to start the day, isn't it?
It really is. When I'm sitting in a long line of cars and barely moving, I sometimes wish I had taken the train instead. But I do enjoy having my own space and listening to my favorite podcasts, like this one, of course.
Of course. So we have a nice contrast here. You drive and I take public transport. Both are very common ways to commute. To commute simply means to travel regularly between your home and your workplace.
That's a key word for today. A commuter is a person who makes that regular journey, and the journey itself is called the commute. For example, my daily commute takes about 40 minutes each way.
Perfect example. Now, let me ask you something. Do you prefer driving, or would you rather use public transport if you had the choice?
Honestly, I think I'd prefer public transport if it were more convenient where I live. I could relax, read a book, or even take a quick nap. Driving requires so much attention, especially in heavy traffic.
That's a really good point. There's a trade-off. Driving gives you freedom and privacy, but public transport lets you use your time better. It's all about what works best for your situation.
Speaking of traffic, let's talk about one of the most frustrating parts of commuting: traffic jams. Carol, have you ever been stuck in really bad traffic?
Oh, absolutely. A few years ago, I had to drive across the city during rush hour and I got completely stuck. I was in a traffic jam for almost 2 hours. I barely moved a few blocks. I was so frustrated, I almost wanted to get out and walk.
I know that feeling. Rush hour is the busy time of day when everyone is traveling to or from work, usually in the morning and late afternoon. And to get stuck in traffic means to be unable to move because there are too many cars.
Exactly. We also say to be caught in traffic or to be held up by traffic. For example, sorry I'm late, I got caught in a terrible traffic jam on the highway.
That's a very useful phrase for everyday life. Now, what causes all this traffic in the first place?
Lots of things. Too many cars on the road construction, accidents, bad weather, and even traffic lights that seem to be against you all the time.
Oh, those traffic lights. Have you ever noticed how they always turn red just as you approach? It's like they have a personal grudge against you.
Yes, it's so funny how that happens. We have a great expression for that feeling of being delayed: to hit a snag or to run into a delay. But the most common one is simply to be stuck.
Let's also mention to take a detour. A detour is a longer route you take to avoid a problem, like a closed road or heavy traffic. For example, the main road was closed, so we had to take a detour through the side streets.
Good one. And when traffic is really bad, we say it's bumper to bumper. That means the cars are so close together that their bumpers almost touch.
That paints a funny picture. Bumper-to-bumper traffic is the worst. It's slow, stressful, and you waste so much time and fuel.
So what can people do to avoid traffic jams? Do you have any tips, Bruno?
Well, the best advice is to leave earlier or later than rush hour. If you can adjust your schedule, you'll avoid the worst of the traffic. Some people also use navigation apps that show you the fastest route in real time.
That's smart. And if you can, try carpooling, sharing a car with coworkers or friends. It's better for the environment and you can split the cost of fuel. Plus, it makes the commute more fun.
Great tip. Carpooling is a wonderful way to save money and make new friends. And speaking of saving money, let's talk about the cost of getting around. Transportation isn't free, is it? Carol, how much do you spend on getting around each month?
Let me think. I have a monthly pass for the subway, which is quite affordable. But when I take taxis or ride-sharing services, the costs really add up. A short ride across town can cost as much as a week of public transport.
That's so true. Ride sharing, like taking an Uber or a similar app, is super convenient, but it's expensive if you use it every day. We also call it hailing a ride or catching a ride.
To catch a ride is a nice and formal expression. It means to get a lift from someone or to take a vehicle somewhere. For example, can I catch a ride with you to the station?
Perfect. Now, for people who drive, there are even more costs: fuel, insurance, parking, and maintenance. Parking alone can be incredibly expensive in big cities.
Oh, parking is a nightmare. Finding a parking spot in the city center is like searching for treasure. And when you finally find one, it costs a fortune.
Exactly. That's why so many people prefer public transport. It's much cheaper. A monthly pass for the bus or subway is usually a fraction of the cost of owning and driving a car.
That's a great point. Let's talk about the word fare. The fare is the money you pay to use public transport. You pay a bus fare or a train fare, but when you drive, you pay for fuel or gas.
Good distinction. In American English, we usually say gas or gasoline, while in British English, it's petrol. And the place where you buy it is the gas station or petrol station.
Nice. So if you want to save money, public transport is usually the way to go. But it's not always the most comfortable or convenient option, is it?
No, definitely not. During rush hour, the subway can be so crowded that you can barely move. We call that packed like sardines, because sardines are packed tightly together in a can.
That's such a funny image. Being packed like sardines on the morning train is not fun at all, but at least it's cheap.
True. So there's always a balance between cost, comfort, and convenience. Everyone has to find what works best for them. Let's talk about greener ways to get around. Carol, you mentioned you ride a bicycle sometimes. Tell us more about that.
Oh, I love cycling. It's good for my health, it's good for the environment, and it's completely free once you have a bike. I ride to the park, to the market, and sometimes even to work when the weather is nice.
That's wonderful. Cycling is a fantastic way to stay active and reduce your carbon footprint. Carbon footprint is the amount of carbon dioxide you produce through your activities, and using a bike instead of a car reduces it a lot.
Exactly. We also call eco-friendly transport sustainable transport or green transport. Walking, cycling, and using public transport are all much better for the planet than driving everywhere.
And walking is the simplest of all. You don't need any special equipment, just a good pair of shoes. Do you walk much, Carol?
I try to. If a place is less than 20 minutes away, I prefer to walk. It's a great way to clear my head and notice things you miss when you're driving or rushing past.
That's a lovely way to think about it. There's a nice expression, to take a stroll. That means to walk in a relaxed, leisurely way. For example, after dinner, we took a stroll along the river.
Oh, I love that. Taking a stroll is so relaxing. And if you're in a hurry, you might walk briskly or even jog to your destination.
Now, some cities are becoming more bike-friendly. They build bike lanes, special paths just for cyclists, and offer bike sharing programs where you can rent a bike for a short time.
Bike sharing is so convenient. You just scan a code with your phone, unlock a bike, ride to your destination, and leave it there. It's perfect for short trips around the city.
It really is, and it's a great way to try cycling without buying your own bike. So whether you walk, cycle, or take the bus, there are plenty of eco-friendly options.
Absolutely. Every little choice we make to use greener transport helps the environment. And it's often better for our health and our wallets too.
So far, we've talked about getting around the city, but what about longer trips? Carol, how do you usually travel when you go to another city or country?
For longer distances, I love taking the train. It's comfortable, you can move around, and the views are beautiful. I also enjoy flying when I need to travel very far, but airports can be stressful with all the security checks and waiting.
That's true.
Let's talk about the vocabulary for long-distance travel. When you go to another country, you fly on a plane, and you go to the airport. When you travel by train, you go to the train station or railway station.
And there's a difference between domestic travel within your own country and international travel to other countries. For example, I'm taking a domestic flight to visit my family in the South.
Great examples. Now, what about the word journey? A journey is a long trip from one place to another. We also use trip for shorter travels. For example, the journey to the coast takes about 3 hours by car.
And a trip can be short or long, a business trip, a weekend trip, or a school trip. The word travel is more general. It's the act of going from one place to another.
Perfect. So we have journey, trip, and travel, 3 words that are similar but used in different ways. Let's also mention to commute again, which is specifically for regular travel to work.
Right. Now, when you travel by train, you might need to book a ticket or reserve a seat. And when you fly, you check in at the airport and board the plane.
To board means to get on a vehicle, a plane, a train, or a ship. For example, please have your ticket ready when you board the train.
And the opposite is to get off or to disembark. For example, I'll get off at the next station. These are essential phrases for any traveler.
Absolutely. Whether you're commuting to work or traveling across the country, knowing these words makes your English much more natural and useful.
Let's end our conversation by comparing transportation in the city and in the countryside. Carol, how is getting around different in rural areas?
In the countryside, public transport is often very limited. There might be only a few buses a day, and they don't run late at night. So most people really need a car to get around. It's much more independent, but also more expensive.
That's a great point. In the city, you have so many options: buses, subways, trams, taxis, and bike sharing. But in the countryside, you often have to drive everywhere because the distances are longer and there's less public transport.
Exactly. In the city, you might say, I'll just hop on the bus, or I'll grab a taxi. But in the countryside, you'd more likely say, I need to drive to the nearest town.
To hop on is a fun, informal way to say to get on a vehicle quickly. For example, let's hop on the next train. It makes your English sound lively and natural.
I love that expression. Now, let's do a quick review of some of the key words and phrases we use today, so you can remember them easily.
Great idea. We talked about
To commute and commuter, regular travel to and from work.
rush hour, the busy time when everyone is traveling.
To get stuck in traffic, to be unable to move because of too many cars.
Bumper to bumper, traffic so heavy that cars are almost touching.
To take a detour, to use a longer route to avoid a problem.
To catch a ride, to get a lift from someone.
Fare, the money you pay for public transport.
Packed like sardines, extremely crowded.
Carbon footprint, the amount of pollution you produce.
To take a stroll, to walk in a relaxed way.
To hop on, to get on a vehicle quickly.
To board, to get on a plane, train, or ship.
Wonderful list. Try using 2 or 3 of these expressions this week whenever you talk about your daily commute or your travel plans. The more you use them, the more natural they become.
And remember, whether you drive, cycle, walk, or take the bus, every journey is a chance to practice your English.
That brings us to the end of today's episode on transportation and commuting.
We covered so much today, from our daily commutes and traffic jams to the cost of getting around, eco-friendly transport, long-distance travel, and the differences between city and countryside life.
We hope this conversation helped you build confidence with everyday transportation vocabulary in English. Remember, language learning is a lot like a journey. Every small step forward takes you closer to your destination.
Listening to natural conversations every day trains your ear, expands your vocabulary, and makes spoken English feel second nature. So keep practicing and you'll get there.
If you found today's episode useful, please give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode.
Tell us in the comments below, how do you get to work or school every day? Do you drive, take the bus, ride a bike, or walk? We read every single comment and love hearing your stories.
We post brand new English listening lessons every day, so we look forward to practicing with you again tomorrow.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep learning, keep practicing, and enjoy every journey.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.